Good morning. It is Monday, April the 6th, and we are still on quarantine. COVID-19 is still winning here in Ontario, and I guess around the world. As promised, I was going to offer a new module today, and the module today will be on interview techniques. And please remember also, these are my ideas. Some that maybe I just shared by many other people, but they're not sanctioned by anybody, and I do need to do that disclosure for fear that somebody comes back and tells me I said it was the right way and that was the only way. There are many ways, but these are my observations having been a headhunter for the past 36 years. You can either say, my goodness, she's brilliant, or you can say the other, but just don't tell me if you're saying the other. As mentioned, most of you are familiar with the STAR methodology, which is situation, thought process, action, and then results. What I would argue, or what I would suggest, is that you go a little bit further and do a C-STAR, which is context, situation, thought process, action, results. And if you have a couple of minutes or a couple of 30-40 seconds, reflection, how I would do it differently. So let me explain to you why I would prefer, or why I would suggest doing it this way. So a lot of times what happens in an interview is you read the question or you hear the question and the question says, and give me an example. You jump right into the example, and you've been preparing for your interviews probably for weeks before your interview, and you might have an example that you just think is brilliant and you want to share it, but unfortunately it may have absolutely nothing to do with the question that we're asking. So when I say C for context, it's basically making sure that you've looked at the question and you're telling us what the question is asking and that you understand what the question is asking. And then you're going to give us an example at the level, giving us the depth and breadth of what that context was. So let me give you an example. Digitalization is going to change the way we do our work. Discuss an initiative where you had to lead or manage or develop a new change process that involved bringing a lot of different people with diverse interests and competing interests together. So sometimes what happens in this type of a question, because there seems to be so many parts to the question, is that people jump right in and they give us their example. It may not actually be the right example. By giving us the context, which is digitalization is going to impact. So explaining, if it's only a minute of what the context of the question is asking, we know that you understand and that the example that you're going to give us actually is meeting what the question is asking. So in this particular case, you're going to discuss, what digitalization means to the workforce going forward. And then you're going to say, now let me give you an example. And in that example, you're going to give me the situation, what your thoughts were on it, how you came to the decision of why you were going to proceed the way that you were going to proceed, environmental scan, however you came to the conclusion, this is what the best response was going to be, or the best action plan was going to be. Then what the action plan was, who did you engage, who did you talk with, make sure that you do the 360. I touched base with my boss, I talked with my clients and my colleagues, I asked my team or people that are industry specialists what they thought, and then these were the actions that I took. This is what our deliverable were, and what the results were. If you've got 30-40 seconds left, and it's not always appropriate, but sometimes it is, giving that reflection, and if I could do it again, I probably would perhaps do it this way or do it that way. That way it's a full answer. It's not just any example that you're throwing out there because you think you've got a really good example of something from your career that you want to share with the board. But if it's not applicable to what the question is asking, it's not a good answer. It might be a really great experience that you've done, and congratulations for it, but it may not be the right example to provide for that question. So if you think of a C-STAR, context, situation, thought process, so that we know what you did or what you were told to do. So it's not just a matter of that you leave the room and we think, I wonder if his boss told him what to do, or whether or not he had actually taken the initiative to do it. What the actions were. And when we talk about actions, it is a 360. You don't do anything on your own. It's not possible to do everything on your own. You had to have engaged. And if you didn't engage, then you made a mistake there also. What the results were, not all results are positive. It's nice to give us an example that had a positive outcome, but sometimes it might be a negative outcome. And then obviously that reflection helps. You also should give us an example of where it's already been completed, not that it's an ongoing. Like it's going to be finished in a year from now. Fingers are crossed. It's going to be successful. I need you to give me something that's been successful, that's going to demonstrate the breadth and depth of what your capacity is at the level of the job that you're applying for. So again, when you're giving the C-STAR response, make sure that you're giving it at the breadth and the depth at the level of the opportunity that you're applying for. As I said, there's more details on my website at myownheadhunter.com. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Send me a text. There's a website there, an email address, or send me a Twitter, now that I have a Twitter account. Send me a LinkedIn question. I'm usually pretty good about responding. Have a great day. Have a great Monday. Stay safe. Stay sane. Especially stay sane. And I wish you and your families good health. Have a great day. Thank you.